commune de Basila n'est pas restée en marge de ce processus car la mairie s'est illustrée récemment dans des actes forts en faveur des femmes pour la filière cajou.
Il faut dire que c'est un honneur pour nous et une fierté de savoir que une dame de ma commune, à la personne de Madame Ata Kakayachi Sada, a été élue. C'est en même temps un défi pour nous.
Avec ce coup d'éclat, Madame Atta, présidente de la FENAPAB, élue pour 3 ans depuis le 23 septembre 2019, expose ici succinctement un plan de sa vision pour la filière cajou qui ne peut évidemment pas se réaliser sans le précieux concours des autorités en charge de l'agriculture au Bénin.
Actuellement, nous sommes à 130 000 tonnes. Mon souhait est qu'on fasse le double, sinon même pourquoi pas le triple du tonnage antérieur. Et ensuite, qu'on puisse transformer plus de la moitié de ces produits au niveau local, chez nous, pour le plein essor de cette filière. Les activités à mener, c'est de continuer le plaidoyer envers le public, les privés, dans le renforcement des capacités.
Cashew is an increasingly important crop for the countries in West Africa. For Benin, it's their second most valuable export. And we saw this big potential to grow and increase more.
Le cajou arrive en seconde place après le coton. À 110 000, 120 000 tonnes, en 2 ans, nous sommes passés à 120, 130, 140 000 tonnes. L'objectif du gouvernement, c'est d'aller à 300 000 tonnes à la fin du quinquennat.
Cashew me permet de vivre. Au moment où je n'avais pas suivi avec Cashew Bénin, les 2 hectares font 5 sacs. Et maintenant, avec Cashew Bénin, je vends 15 sacs cette année. Le projet nous a appris beaucoup de choses.
Il a formé 10 personnes, dont 9 femmes et 1 homme.
Après mon élection à la FENAPAB, les impressions sont bonnes. Surtout être à la tête d'une fédération nationale des producteurs d'anacards du Bénin. Les points clés de mes actions sont relatifs à la recherche des partenaires pour améliorer la qualité de nos activités.
Processing capacity, create more than 3,400 jobs, most of which will be held by women, and will position the entire sector for continued growth long after the project ends.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another session of the ACA Technical Series. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. With the simultaneous. Please note that the session is being held in English with a simultaneous French interpretation. To access this service, kindly locate the globe icon on your screen, select a preferred language, and mute the original sound. To moderate the session today, which is Cashew Farm maintenance equipment, innovative technology by Still, we have Ade Demola Adesida. Who is Ade? Ade is a market system development and sustainability professional with a track record of facilitating sustainable impacts across tree crop value chain such as cocoa, cashew, oil palm, and coffee through assurance, technical, and strategic management services. Ade supports local agricultural enterprises in developing robust management systems which sufficiently address systematic market issues around traceability, quality management systems, and adoption of production technologies towards increased income in an entirely bearable manner. He is also the National Executive Secretary of the National Cashew Association of Nigeria, NCAN, and he's also the team lead on sustainability management at Conservation Alliance Development Initiative, which is a nonprofit organization. Ade is a quality management system lead auditor, and he's a licensed sustainable agriculture standard auditor. Ade is a seed inspector with the National Agricultural Seed Council, and he's also skilled in policy analysis, value chain analysis, agri-food program development and implementation, food and agricultural audits, trade facilitation and adoption strategies. Ade believes biodiversity improved human well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting much time, help me welcome Ade. Ade, are you online? Can you see me? Can you hear?
Yes, Blessings, thank you. I can see you, I can hear you.
Good morning, Ade.
Good morning, Blessing, good morning.
Please, you may proceed. Thank you for joining us this morning. You may proceed.
Thank you. I will start by sharing my screen for today's presentation. Yes. Can you see my place? Can you see my screen, please? Blessing, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, Ade, I see your screen. Please carry on.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Nigeria. My name is Ade, as Blessing has said. For today, I'll be moderating this session with a very important service provider, which is Still, Victor Aliyu. Just a bit of a background. For today, we'll be looking at some technical issues around innovative technologies, which will be more of a build-up to the last webinar edition, which was presented by Professor Masawe. Pruning. Of course, we know pruning is quite an important activity for good agricultural practices for cashew orchards, and we feel it's necessary for us to see. We've talked about how important pruning is. We've talked about how crucial it is for productivity and how it can be done. But what we have not really spoken about is what tools can we use? We all know using the right tools for the right job is quite important for productivity. Currently, you see farmers using cutlass and wood blocks to climb up the tree and do this pruning themselves, which is not really effective. So we feel this webinar will give us this platform to actually explore the innovative technologies introduced by Still. Still is a German organization who has track record in developing forest equipment. And of late, the pruning machine has been of good introduction to the system. And we feel people don't really have an idea, or they don't have good information as to what is the pruning machine all about, how it can be used, how it can be sourced, and what are the results of the trials so far we've done on the field. So over the next couple of minutes, we'll be looking at introduction to the webinar, which we currently are doing, and we'll do a build up on what we've learned so far on pruning, what we know of pruning, and also we'll be having our guest join us, which is Victor Aliyu from Still, to talk about the Still HT75 mechanical pruner. It's a material data safety sheet, its performance data, and its market data. And also we're going to build a discussion on what are the determinants of its adoption? What have we seen? What have we documented to see if, to evaluate the thoughts and minds of users towards the adoption of this equipment, which is quite important. Then also, to wrap up the event, we would like to also give you information about its sales and service points. Of course, we know equipment released into the system or technologies released into the system without a good after-sales service support, it would not be that effective. So that's all for introduction, and I'll go right into what we need to discuss. So, like I've said, we'll look at the material data safety sheet of the mechanical pruning technology and its effective usage. And also, we'll look at how participants will have access to the data from the field trials for us to have the confidence that this equipment really works and is effective. And also, participants on this webinar will learn of the determinants of adoption as it relates to users' experience and study outcomes. Participants will also be linked to sales and service points. Participants will also have direct feedbacks through the Q&A section and the moderator and presenter discussion to see what are the technical components or what are the areas we should look forward to, and what are the areas we might have some questions to ask from Steve directly. And we hope they're able to give us direct feedbacks on these questions. May I also add, if you have questions going forward, you can use the chat button, which is just below your slides option, the top right or the down left. So, what do we know of pruning? According to Professor Masawe, during the last presentation, we know he is able to identify 3 major types of pruning. We have the formative pruning, which is done 2-3 years. After 2-3 years after establishment. This is done just to give the pruning, give the tree a good shape for growth. And also you can refer to the presentation document to get more information about this. Then also we have the light pruning, which is actually done annually. So you can also time this as sanitary pruning, where you come annually once a year, depending on the geographical zone. To conduct light pruning on your cashew tree, removal of mist-to-toe, removal of excess branches, touching the ground that might not give you enough room to pick your nuts or your fruits. Then also we have the heavy pruning of mature cashew trees. This is more relevant to those who are taking over existing plots, old and existing plots of cashew plantations. I want to do a bit of innovation, a bit of overhaul, and this is done basically to support nut picking and tractor operations. Of course, we know tractors might need to have enough space to move around the farms and the orchards to be able to implement some key things like ease of nut connection, productive intercropping, effective tractor operations in the terms of annual plowing, disease control, fertilization, and transportation of nuts. These are important for cashew orchard management. So, without wasting much time, I would like to bring on board Victor Aliyu. Victor Aliyu is the technical sales representative of Steel, who works with Steelman. Steel is the producer of the Steel HT75 mechanical pruner, and is currently being so marketed or so distributed by Steelman in Nigeria and West African sub-region. So thank you, Mr. Lee, for joining. We'd like to hear from you what this equipment is all about, how it can be used, how it can be useful, and how it can be assessed. So over the next couple of minutes, we will rely on your technical discussions to shed more light on this equipment and its effective use. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ade. Good morning, everyone. My name is Victor Aliyu. Thank you very much also, Blessing, for the privilege and opportunity to share with you what technology improvement still has made in terms of agriculture, especially now in respect to the cashew farmers and in the cashew sector. So I just go straight to the point. Again, my name is Victor. I'm the sales executive for Steel, Seawoman Nigeria Limited. So Seawoman, I just do a brief background for Seawoman Nigeria, so you understand our partnership and our relationship with Steel, which is the manufacturer for this pruning machine. So Seawoman, a German company, is in partnership, is the authorized distributor for steel in West Africa, at least in Ghana, Nigeria, and also we have an outlet in Angola presently. So we distribute all steel product through these channels in West Africa. And in Nigeria, Seawoman Nigeria is the sole distributor, authorized distributor also, to promote the brand and its equipment. So we just go straight into the business of today. So in the steel product range, steel, I just also give us a little background on steel. Steel was started with the chainsaw and is popularly known with the motor saw, which is used for felling of trees and cross-cutting, but then steel had gone beyond just the chainsaw machines, and have also developed other machines that will be relevant for other agricultural sector, because the chainsaw is just basically into for the forestry. So for the agricultural sector, we also have the palm cutters. That's for palm pruning and also the fruit harvesting. We have the pole pruners, which we have seen very, very effective in the cocoa sector. We also have the brush cutters, which can also be used both in the palm and the cocoa sector for clearing activities, clear the bush or the weed around the farm or in the farm. And also the chainsaw. The chainsaw also can be used for a lot of rehabilitation and rehabilitation exercise in the plantation. So we've seen that severally. We've worked with FINAPAP, and also Benin Cashew in Benin Republic. I think some year ago, I think it was 2018, we were there together with Joseph. We supplied some equipment to them and also went there for the training, and we saw it very, very effective in the cashew plantation. So I just talk basically today for the purpose of this webinar, the Steel HT75, the pole pruner. So in the pole pruner, there are different models. The HT75 is the most common, affordable, and also reliable pole pruner in the steel product range. It's actually the entry product, so it's also very, very cheap to say compared to the other models. So the HT75 pole pruner is a gasoline pole pruner for professional users. The target group and its application, it's for tree care, those into orcharding, and also agricultural professionals like the cashew farmers. This would be a very, very interesting machine for the delimping of trees or removal of dead woods, and also damages that may have been, some branches that may have been affected by pests or diseases. You could easily delimb them from the tree so as to not to affect the yield and productivity. So you could use them for delimping of trees, removal of dead woods or storm damages, and fruit tree cutting. So this is basically the application for the pole pruner. So again, where the technology is of utmost importance is you don't need to climb onto the cashew tree to do your delimping. Assuming you have a dead branch and you want to cut up the tree, you don't have to go up, because we always say safety first, and safety is key. So you could stand on the ground and hold the machine up. It's also a telescopic shaft, telescopic pole. So it's extendable. You could easily extend it to the height you wish to work with the machine. So I quickly talk also of the engineering, the pole pruner. You know, the earlier models that were designed was a little bit heavy because of the material that was used for the pole. So, you know, as much as we try to make possible the use of this equipment, it is also very important that a worker can be able to use it for a very long time without feeling stressed and tired, because the essence of mechanized equipment is just to make the normal usual activities, farming activity, easier and better and even more economical. So the improved model, the new version, has the square telescopic drive tube. The square telescopic drive tube, Mr. Ade, you could also help me circle the drive tube from the control to the gearbox. That is the telescopic drive tube. So it's a lightweight magnesium gearbox. All of this is just to make sure we will have less weight on the machine, so that whoever the operator is, it could be able to use this machine. We've seen it actually even where ladies can operate this machine, because it's not too heavy, it's not too complicated to use. Then also there's the lateral chip ejection. These are just some of the engineering improvement that was made on the machine. Just at the gear head, you could see a little opening in the orange part at the gear head. Mr. Ade, if you are there, you could just cycle. Inside the cycle you already have, there's the orange part. Yes, exactly. So there's this little opening there, which is the lateral chip ejection. This is to ensure that while cutting, you don't get the chips being cut from the branches don't get clogged in the sprocket, thereby making the chain static. So from this ejection point, the chips that are being cut from the branches could easily fall out from this part. So also the sprocket cover with loss proof knot and marker line. So also the sprocket has been designed in such a way that you don't have much chip that has been cut off from the branches to get stuck to the sprocket and the chain, because the chain actually rolls or rotates on the sprocket. And if the sprocket is clogged, then it becomes even much difficult for the chain to roll. So I don't really want to bore too much with technical, the technicalities of the equipment. So because I know some people are farmers and might not really be interested too much on all these technical engineering things and all of that, but they are just interested in knowing how the machine is important for their work and how it makes their work very easy. So the sales and competition, the gasoline pole pruner is with a two-stroke engine. So the two-stroke engine is a very basic engine that is being designed for most of the steel machine. The two-stroke engine has its advantage because one, it is light. You could easily, it's not very heavy. Yeah. Then two, it's not very complicated in terms of repairs and servicing. So it even makes it easy for a farmer who is a little bit technical inclined to already do his basic maintenance, repairs, checks, and maintenance on the engine, like the replacement of the air filters, the replacement of the spark plug. These are just basic maintenance, which even a farmer can be able to do thanks to the two-stroke engine. So also the two-stroke engine, very, very economical in terms of fuel consumption. Later in the slide, we'll also see from our demonstrations, which we have done some demonstration which we have done, we'll see the fuel consumption of this machine. Later in the slide, we'll come to that. So also the professional telescopic drive tube, particularly rigid with quick adjustment. So also this is another improvement. So you don't need a tool to adjust the drive tube. So if you want to extend the shaft to a particular height, you don't need a tool. You just use your hand and turn the, yes, thank you very much, Mr. Ade. You just turn the knob there and you do your adjustment. Either you increase it or reduce it. This is very easy. The previous models you will need is a screw, so you would always need a tool sometimes to make sure the nuts are in place. But with this, it's even much more easier for the farmer to also use without too much complications. Also, lightweight magnesium gearbox with custody branch hook. So on the gearbox, there's this little curve, aluminum magnesium curve on it, which you could use to hang the machine. It's called a branch hook. So if during cutting you intend to give some space, maybe between a branch, if a branch is clogged with other branches and you want to, just space it a bit so you could have access to cutting, you could use the branch hook to do this. Also, when you have some cut and the branch is maybe stopped by another overlapping branch or something, you could use this branch hook to pull down the already cut branch. So the branch hooks makes it very easy also for the farmer to remove already cut branches that may still be hanging because of some maybe other underlying branches. Also, this is very, very, we've seen it succeed very well in South America and also Southeast Asia. They already have adopted this in most of the plantations, and we see very high figures coming from this regions. So what is the customer benefit for having this machine? The machine number one is very robust and durable. I mean, for steel, it is known for durability. Those that may have already seen the steel or used the steel chainsaw, this is one of the most popular and common chainsaw out there. All steel engines are being manufactured and produced by steel for the two-stroke engine. So there is a lot of work that is being put into the robustness, the ruggedity, and also the durability. Because, I mean, steel being a German machine, it's always designed for the most toughest kind of job you could ever imagine. It's also very efficient in working with, very simple tool to handle. I can tell you, if you are a novice or even a newbie with machines and equipment, it's not difficult to operate and to handle. Also, the customer benefit is a quick length adjustment for different working heights and easy transportation. So, instead of having to climb on the tree to cut a branch, you could just stand on the ground, adjust your pole, and do the cutting. And the overall length of the machine is between 270 to 390 cm. So, the next slide, please. Please, if you have any question, you could make use of the chat box, or you could just put it down, and at the end of the session, we would have question and answer, and we can attend to your question. Okay, so just to also familiarize the participant just with some of the parts of the machine. So this is the product future of the improved gearbox, or you could say gearhead. Is lightweight magnesium gearbox. So this particular gearbox can be used with a 3/8P cutting attachment. So not to bore you too much with some of this engineering terms. So the cutting, it just says what it's trying to imply here is the machine comes usually with with the 1/4p. So the 1/4p chain is usually a very small, tiny chain. So sometimes you could have very thick branches to work with, and with thick branches you might need a bigger teeth of the chain just for easy cutting and fast cutting, just for efficiency purpose. So this particular gearbox can adopt the 3/8 chain, which is bigger than the 1/4 chain. So then the second also is the captive knot. So the captive knot is also used to make sturdy the sprocket cover and also to make sturdy the bar. With this, you can easily tie down the guide bar and also do your chain adjustment, just to ensure that you don't have too tight chain, because when the chain is too tight, then it becomes difficult to rotate around the bar. Instead, you could just show them the bar. The bar is where you have the steel written on it, and the chain is, you could see the chain around it. Yes, that's the white pattern. There is the bar and the chain around it. So the captive knot helps you to adjust this chain easily around the bar. So you could decide to make it thicker, you could decide to make it tighter, or you could loosen it a bit. It depends on where you're working and what you want to achieve. Yeah, so there, number 3, that was the branch hook we were talking about earlier, the sturdy branch hook just beneath the bar there, and the sprocket cover, you would see the magnesium branch hook. So this branch hook, you could use it to draw out already cut out branch, or to also even create space so that your chain or your blade could easily do the cutting for you. Yes, the lateral shaving ejection to reduce the clogging. So this is just to show you in detail what we talked about earlier. So you could see that opening, the opening there, you could see some part of the chain there. So when the chain does the cutting, some of the chip goes into the sprocket. So those chips that go into the sprocket can easily fall out from this ejection point. What is the advantage of this? This is just to minimize the number of downtimes in terms of putting down your machine, opening your captive knot, removing the sprocket and cleaning. So with this chip, you have less down. With this shaving ejection, you have less clogging and less downtime, because you have less time you don't have to frequently put down your machine to do cleaning. So the marker line for targeted application. So this marker line, it's just for you to be able to know where exactly you want to do your cutting. So this tells you, obviously, you cannot do your cutting beyond it. It tells you where the chain starts from. So you cannot do your cutting from anywhere above the marker line, right? When you're positioning the guide bar and when you're positioning the gearbox during cutting, the angle must not be beyond this mark there. So the next slide, please. Yes, just here, just the technical details and recommended parts, so to say, for the HT75 equipment. So the engine type or the engine make is a 2-stroke engine. So also, I just quickly say here, the 2-stroke engine would always require a mixture of petrol and engine oil, or gasoline and engine oil, right? So it's not a gasoline separate and engine oil separate. It must be a mixture at the appropriate ratio. So the ratio is usually ratio 1:50. So you must mix 100 ml to 5 liters of petrol, or 1 ml to 50 liters, or 1 liter to 50 liters of petrol. So you could either mix your the petrol and engine oil, 1 liter of the engine oil will go with 50 liters of gasoline or petrol for the steel two-stroke engine. Please take note, this ratio is only for the steel two-stroke engine oil, because there is also a specifically designed engine oil for all steel two-stroke engines. So, but for other oils, I cannot tell what their ratio is, but for steel two-stroke engine oil, this is the appropriate mixing ratio. What is the output of the pole pruner? It's 0.95 kilowatts, which is also approximately 1.3 horsepower. So that's to tell you the engine power, the power output of the engine rather. Then the weight is about 7.3 kg. And the type of shaft it comes with is a telescopic, so that means it is adjustable. The overall length is 270 to 390 meters, and the sound pressure level is at 92. And the vibration both left and right is 4.6 and 6.0. So for those that are not engineers, this might not be too much interesting for you, but you would know that yes, it's a lot of power to have a 1.3 horsepower machine, which you could easily handle at 7.3 kg. This is less than 10 kg. So it's very light, something even a lady can easily handle. So this is a very, very good advantage you have with this machine. The next slide, please. Okay, yes. So this is some data we got from the demonstration we did. We just did some trial. When we tried an average of 2 minutes per heavily dense tree. So this is the time it takes per acre. Mr. Ade would also talk much more later when he comes on. So we'll talk more about this because we did this trial together and he was there, he saw it firsthand. So the average of 2 minutes per heavily dense tree. So when you have a heavy dense tree that needs lots of pruning, it could just take 2 minutes to do this pruning. I mean, as compared to manual labor, which takes about 30 minutes. So you could see the time this saves. So this talks about the performance of the machine. Also for labor, instead of hiring a man that would do 50 trees per day, with one man with the machine, he can already do 250 trees per day. Because if he's doing 2 minutes, definitely on one tree, then you could imagine how many trees he would have gone in just few hours. Meanwhile, using a manual labor, he could barely struggle to complete 50 stands to prune 50 stands of the cashew tree per day. Then the tank capacity, yes, very, very small tank, but also very economical. The tank is approximately 0.5, in fact, not even up to 0.5 liters, it's 0.446. So just let's say approximately half a liter. Half a liter is what would take you over 2 hours to use up. And I can tell you, you could do even with 5 liters of petrol, you could do over 250,000 stands, which if you're doing a manual labor, you have to look for a manual laborer who will be willing to spend much time and definitely will charge you more. So, yes, next slide, please.
Yes, I think, thank you, Mr. Victor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I just talk about the locations and you go back to, I talk about the locations where this can easily be purchased or where you could even see more of this and our other products. Then you just go back to the next slide, also talk more about the experience we had during the demonstration and you continue from there. So, like I said earlier, CO-Man is in Nigeria, Ghana, and Angola. So in Nigeria, we're in Lagos. We're basically in Lagos, but we also have We also set up the farm, also together with the Farm Conservation Service in Akure. So the essence of this also is to make sure farmers have access to this equipment, just outside Lagos, because if you're in Nigeria, it's actually a distance traveling from Akure, Ondo State, which is the western part of the country, down to Lagos. Sometimes could be very, very hectic. The roads are not too good, and also very long distance. So if a farmer already in Akure has a machine, then instead of coming down all the way to Lagos to get a spare part or to fix the machine, you could easily get this done with the Farm Conservation Service in Akure. Also, we have a service center and a showroom in IATA in Ibadan. IATA is International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. We have a showroom set up there. Also, the essence of this is if a farmer in Ibadan or close to Ibadan wants to have access to services for this product, not just the pole pruner now, but any steel product, he could easily get support from this center. So the essence is just to move closer to the farmer and to the users of this machine, because we know that Lagos is a very busy place, is the economic commercial center also. So you don't see too many farms in Lagos. Most of the farmers are in the outskirts, and this is where the machines are going to be used. So the idea is actually to have a place that is not too far from the user, so he could, just to reduce the downtime using the machine. So also our outlets, we have Seawoman Ghana Limited, the offices in Accra, also in Kumasi. For more information, you could always check on the website there, or you could also use info@Woman Ghana for more information. If you want more information, you just check on the website. You get the details, contact person, emails, even office location, and what have you. Also, Seawoman Angola, this in Luanda, Angola. So this is also, their website is also there. You could just easily search on the website. If you are in Angola or somewhere close, you could just search on the website and you get instant support from the front desk team. So thank you very much. Mr. Ade, you can take over, please.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you for taking us through this presentation. And I myself I've even learned got some few information that I didn't know before, and it's been helpful. And it is good to say that at least now there's an improvement to how we can mechanize our farms as cashew farmers and cashew orchard owners. And a bit of information about the studies we carried out before we wrap up this session is on the determinants of adoption. So we are also concerned about how we farmers, how we stakeholders, adopt these technologies and not become just a chef value. So over the last 1 year, we've been doing a lot of trials across all the cashew producing belts in Nigeria. Very soon we'll also do some trials in countries like Cote d'Ivoire to actually document its performance as it regards to geographic location. But for Nigeria, this is what we have discovered. So we feel one of the major outcomes of our study is centered around information. The studies show that farmers and actors who have more information about this equipment have better access to this equipment. So, and this is why we are here today, to share this information with you, for you to know. And if at all we have not achieved anything today, I know you've at least seen what the pole pruner looks like and how it can be used. And if you look at the picture on my top right, you'll see this is a picture from our demo activity in a place called Maya community in Oyo State. We had this engagement which were there to interact with farmers who had little portions of cashew orchards, and with this access to information is very key in terms of awareness about the technology and how to use the technology. So we hope that after this event, there'll be a build up to this to show, to bring up practical demonstrations to people who still want to learn about this mechanical pruner, how it is used, and how it can be serviced. So we are hoping that this section will come up during our engagement in January when we have the Cashew Farmers Day, yet to be announced anyway, but information is quite key. And also nearness to technologies. As you can see before, if you check the sales network of this equipment, last year you can only find this in Lagos. But now with partnership with STILL, with Farm Conservation Service, farmers now have a little bit of access to this equipment because these locations are quite close to them. We still hope to expand to bring in partners to see this as a model and expand. And one of the ways STILL has been promoting this is to adopt the farm service model, where if you can't afford, if you are not near to it, the service and use of this equipment to be near to you. That means if you can afford it, there are service providers who are very close to you, close to the communities, close to the farm gates, who can actually provide the services for a fee. So nearness to technology will actually promote adoption, and this information can be useful to development partners, development agencies, market actors who are willing to support farmers to have access to this technology. So market arrangement, of course, and this is very important. Sometimes we discover that most farmers who have actually adopted similar technologies have been supported one way or the other by the market they sell to. So it's a bit of encouragement for exporters, for processors who have a traceable program going on to be the agent of adoption in this light. If you want your farmers to have increased productivity, you want them to have have little or no pest issues on the farm, you can choose to support your farmers or your network, and they can develop a use mechanism amongst them to see how they can rotate and prune effectively. Another thing is the price. The price is something we'll come to later. Let me go to access to service, which I talked about in the access to technology. So access to service is, you've used this equipment, you've gotten the equipment, but at some point, machines are meant to develop some little itch after long hours of use. So how do you maintain? So one of the case studies we have in this line is when we sold to the market actor who got it for farmers in the cocoa sector, and after 6 months, the machines needed service. So as part of what STILL provided for this client, this client actually was offered a 6 months. Was offered a first service for free. So, but getting the equipment from location in Akure to Lagos for servicing became a problem. As a matter of fact, cost of conveying the equipment to Lagos for service is even more than the cost of service itself. So access to service is also very important. So as we are buying it, as we are adopting this technology, we should also make sure that we are connected to a mechanical service point as advised by STILL, so that we can have easy access to service and maintenance of this equipment professionally. And of course, what comes along with this equipment are some basic tools that you can use for basic maintenance, like the screwdriver, like the pole spanner, and some there's a particular screwdriver that's in there. It's a lock and key screwdriver that can be used to open most of the nuts attached to this equipment. So also one of the information we got during our study is the age. It's easier and faster for young people below the age of 45 to adopt this technology than farmers who are above that age. And this is a major outcome of our study, and it's to show that youth needs to be encouraged to come into this production system, to come into cashew investment, so that we can have a very good adoption. Farmers of the older generation might not be willing, might not be able, or might not see any reason to adopt it because of dynamics. But of course, we've discovered that people, farmers below the age of 45 adopt faster than farmers above the age of 45. So I'll talk about price. The price of the equipment, I'm not sure Victor mentioned the price of the equipment, which would be my first question. Mr. Victor, please, can you tell us what this price is saying? What's the price range of this mechanical pruner as you have on the shelf?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ade. So currently the pruner is around 500,000. Actually, the price it varies, depends on the quantity, but within 500,000, would say averagely.
500,000 naira, you mean?
500,000 naira, sorry.
That would be almost $1,000 equivalent.
Yeah, almost, yes.
Okay. And sometimes we also see that this might look a little bit not too easy to adopt for smallholder farmers who are in small locations or out-to-get locations. So, and that's where the farm service model. I think you should talk about the farm service model. Don't you think so?
Okay, yes. So, as we know, in Nigeria, 500,000 is a lot of money. I mean, even in other places, almost $1,000 at a go. So, and what we do is we have adopted the farm service model, or we are adopting the farm service model in such a way that the farmers can easily have, instead of paying for outrightly or buying 5,000, they could just do a farm service provider and get the service of this same machine from service provider. So what this does is they get the job done with the machine and at an affordable price. So in a way, it's a win-win for the farmer, having used the best equipment, like very quality equipment in his farm, and having the expertise of a farm service provider to get this, to get the job done, and also in time. So if he doesn't have 500,000, he would be willing to pay maybe 50,000, depending on his operation, the size of his land, and all of that. He should be willing to pay maybe 50,000, which is like just 10% of the amount of the machine, or even less, depending on his operation, what he wants to do. So this is also another much is to go through farmer associations. So farmer association could decide to purchase a unit and have it in the association. But also for the farmer association, we have seen that not all of the farmers are able, not all of the farmers in a particular association are able to use the machine. So they would still need the expertise of a service provider who is already trained on using the machine. So the service provider can come in, use their machine for them, and work for them in their farm. And when he's done, he returns the machine to them, because the machine belongs to the association, is their property. So it depends on the arrangement they have. Sometimes if the association doesn't have anything, or if it's just a private farmer or individual who does not belong to any association that already has the machine, he could just go directly to the farm service provider who already has the machine. So he comes, the farm service provider comes with his machine and does your job, and you pay him, and he goes back with his machine. So this is something we've seen that could easily work, or is also working with some of the farmers that cannot be able to afford the machine outrightly. So also for those that want to purchase, it's something we could easily do. Whenever you purchase the machine, we could easily come around for a training to show you how the machine works and how to use the machine, and also the basic maintenance repairs. So this is a model which we have seen work for those that are not able to purchase outrightly.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Victor. Using this chat section, you can also drop your comments drop your questions so that we can make give feedbacks to them. And so far, one of the questions we've gotten so far, Mr. Victor, talks about noise, noise management of this equipment. And I know a part of the slide talks about the noise index of this equipment as it relates to farmers' health. What do you think? What do you think the equipment has been able to bring on board in terms of noise management?
All right, thank you very much. So, I mean, it's a machine, so definitely it would, but then this machine, it's not as loud as you would imagine. I mean, even in most cases, not as loud as some bikes. I mean, some bikes would normally apply for our daily activities. So in terms of the loudness, is not very loud, especially when you're using the muffler on the machine, because we doesn't get the air muffler it could easily use with the machine.
Just a very strategic question about energy use and climate change. So this is still gasoline powered equipment, even though we know the volume or the quantity required for gasoline is now more effective than it used to be. Before we used to have this equipment consume about 0.5 liters as you have in less than 2 hours. But now it has increased, the efficiency has reduced. But also we're looking at the future, because sustainability and climate change is a very crucial, important discussion at this time of our generation, and we need to be cautious about our use of energy, our use of power, and all. So, do you have any solutions to this? What are the plans of steel to actually transit from a gasoline-fueled equipment to probably a more sustainable source of energy for this equipment?
Yes, thank you very much for raising that question, Mr. Ade. I was very excited when you were asking the question, because already we've even gone ahead. Steel has already produced cordless tools. In fact, in Europe, Steel sells more of the cordless tools than the gasoline tool, because they are already adopting the low energy emissions, carbon emissions, and all of that. But aside from that, even the pole pruner, which we already have, it's always, especially the carburetor, is always designed to the emission, according to the emission laws of Asia and the continent in general. So in terms of emission, I know it's not emitting too much carbon dioxide to the environment, to emission laws, but we've gone even beyond that. We now have even cordless tools, so you could just power them with their batteries. We have the battery chainsaw, also cordless brush cutters. All the products now have gone cordless. I can assure you. So, if in terms of climate change and what have you, we have also gone into that. I mean, even for our lawnmowers, I tell you this, we've already gone into robotic. We have a robotic lawnmower now that you don't need even a gasoline or even a battery to power the lawnmower. It's like a robot, and it's just operated from a center. You just program it, design, put in what you want it to do, and it goes. So, it's easy with the lawnmower because you just have a very big field to work with. So I don't want to digress too much. You have a big field to work with. You just put the mower there, and at the service point, you program what you want it to do, how you want it to move, all of this is done. So for the Cashew, we've not to that point for the robotic, but we already have the electric or what you call the cordless pole pruners that uses batteries.
Okay. And I think we might have omitted the contact for the Ghana sales point. So I don't know if you're able to share that using your own chat button, so that participants can also have the contact of the Ghana sales point to have access to this technology. So thank you, Mr. Victor, for standing by with us. Thank you for giving us this good insight to what this equipment can do. And I know one of our take-up is to see how we can actually do a physical demonstration of this equipment so people can see how it is being used and how it can be serviced, basically, But one of the key take-up points is for still to want to appeal to still to also link up with the market actors who can support farmers in adopting these technologies, so that we can have a good adoption system. And also, I think we have a chat coming up. We have chats coming up. Okay, okay, it's from you. So, I would like to throw this open to participants. If you have further questions before Mr. Aliyu steps aside, if you have questions about the use, about the adoption, about the performance data, we can use this quite a number of minutes we have to to address this question before we draw the curtain for this edition of Technical Series. Over to you, participants. What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your comments? Would like to have it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ade. So, dear participants, if you have any question, you may use the raise hand feature or drop it in the Q&A, and Ade and Victor would address all the questions. Or if you have a need for clarification, please let us know so that they can address all of this.
Okay. While we wait for questions being piled up, Mr. Victor, are you still with us?
I'm here.
Yes. So I was going to ask you about your relationship with development agencies are out there to support this kind of novel idea, this novel innovation. How frequent do you connect with this set of guys? How frequent do you engage these development partners and market actors and exporters and all? How frequent? And what are those things you think the ACA platform can do for this restaurant?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
So I was asking about your relationship with development partners and market actors. How have you engaged them? How have you been doing this over the years to see that this equipment is out there? And what can the ACA platform do for this equipment to see that, aside from what is being currently done, what are your thoughts as to what how ACA and other development partners can come in to support this equipment for better adoption?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think I get that clearly. So I think what a platform like ACA can do is to emphasize on the need of mechanization, because sometimes it's farmers tend to listen to platforms like this more than an equipment manufacturer or an equipment distributor, because they feel, oh, all is about your equipment. You can't say much about farming. But if platforms like ACA and the likes can bring up programs like this where farmers can come see some of this mechanized tools, this improved technologies, I think it would go a long way. I've seen that work actually in Ghana. In Ghana, they have a body that controls the cocoa board with the cocoa sector. And I tell you, because what they do is they say, if your cocoa, okay, so in Ghana, what they do is the regulatory body says, if your cocoa doesn't meet certain quantity, it's going to be bought. Nobody is going to buy that view. And as a farmer, you don't want to produce your product and have it remain in your store. You want to sell it. And if the people that are going to buy or the people that are giving you inputs now tell you, hey, this is what I should do to arrive at a quality produce or quality yield. So this is what I've seen doing in Ghana and well. So if a platform like ACA can also I don't know, I'm not sure it says the regulatory, but no, they could also play a role. If they could say, oh, if you want to get a clean pruning or clean increase productivity, because to an extent, if you have proper pruning, then the fruits can yield better. If you have if you take care of the orchard or the farm very well, then you have better yield. And if you have better yield, that implies probably more productivity, more money for the farmer. So if they can be able to put some of these things in place, I think it will go a long way. I've seen it work very well in Ghana.
Yeah. So I think we have one of the participants who would like to ask verbal questions. Mr. Kabir Abubakar. Kabir Abubakar, you have the floor. Hello, Mr. Kabir.
Can you hear me, Mr. Ade?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Good morning. Okay. Welcome to the Cashew Technical Series.
Good morning, Mr. Ade. I want to sincerely appreciate your effort in putting these Cashew technical studies on board, and also to African Cashew Alliance and to Mr. Victor, who take his time to analyze the necessary technical know-how. And what I want to say is this is a webinar that I think few of us are here listening to the orientation or get to be aware of some certain issues about how to maintain cashew to meet up an international standard. What I really want to ask is this: the farmers we're talking about are not here with us and has no necessary facilities to key into stuff like this. Can we make it possible if we can partner with National Cashew Association of Nigeria, who has an interface with these farmers in their various localities to ensure they are aware?
Hello. Hello.
Ade, I can hear you. Please carry on.
Okay. So, Mr. Abu Mohammed, just to add voice to what you said, before we got to this point, we mentioned a possible physical demonstration, which might come up in January, and I'm aware that still periodically, as a matter of fact, as of yesterday or the previous week, still has been on the field, still doing physical demonstrations for farmers in Oyo State and in Osun State. So I know this is a continuous process, and I, for one person, have been part of the field expedition, the field demonstration at some point or the other, and even some point assist them to demonstrate. And of course, I'm also a member of the Incan family, and so I know one of the takeoffs from this event will be how to move from the virtual discussions to the physical discussions and field demonstrations. So this is just a starting point for introducing this equipment to top level strategic partners who might see reasons why they need to invest in this. As you can see, on the slide 8. On the slide 8, and when it comes to the private sector engagement, National Cashew Nigeria, as led by Ojo Jenapu, represent the voice of the private sector individual. And for Africa, it is for ACA. So this is to show that we're still to an extent has an interest in working with these key focal points and even more. So, but I know for what has been done so far, demonstrations have been done in little capacities here and there, based on the Steel's in-house efforts and their marketing strategies. And more will be done only if we have partners willing to invite Steel to their farm gates, to their communities, to actually do a physical demonstration. So you can write a mail to, you can send us an email to ACA, to Steel, and to Public Incan to see how you can invite Steel to demonstrate this to the farmers you are willing to work with. Even more than farmers, talk about other market actors. So that is what I have to say about your comment, and I know I've been able to, I hope I've been able to answer your questions. more precisely. So yes, we still will definitely reach out more. Still will reach out more, and we hope that this is just a starting point. Thank you for asking that question. So any other questions that we might need to answer or give feedbacks to, now's the time. But while we wait for questions, I would also like to point out the fact that if you need, one of the key major components of this equipment is ability to give you clean cut. And if you can see through I was by Professor Masawe some weeks ago, you'll see some picture evidence of what a clean cut pruning should be like. A cutlass cannot give you that result. A chainsaw can give you that result, but a chainsaw is not as sustainable as a pruner. So if you need something that can give you reduced noise, lighter weight, and reduced noise, lighter weight, and a clean cut, precise clean cut, such that there will not be deposit of rainfall on the clean surface, and that might not invite pesticides to actually attack the tree through that clean cut. The pruner is an equipment to definitely adopt. So, Mr. Victor, please, I would like to bring you on board to give your final remarks if you have any, and then to let the participants know that this is just a starting point, and there are other things we need to do going forward to get this equipment out there and adopted. Mr. Victor, over to you for your concluding remarks.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ade. Thank you so much, Blessing, and all the organizers of this webinar. I can tell you I am very, very happy that we could use a platform like this to show to the farmers or to all the participants what is available. I can tell you so many people have heard of steel for the chainsaw, but never knew that they still has other equipment that could serve for other farm or agricultural sector or agricultural application. So a platform like this, I believe, would really go a long way, because I saw that also it was being streamed live on Facebook and some other social media platform, which is very good for us, because this now increased the awareness for the brand, for the product, and also it further spreads out what the technologies available is, what the available technology is for the cashew farmers. So many Nigerian cashew farmers, I doubt if they have adopted any mechanized tool in terms of pruning or even clearing their farms. I think most of them still use the manual way, but then, we cannot continue like this. We cannot continue with this small scale or, old, obsolete farming method. Then it's high time for us to also grow and to also improve our productivity by using mechanized tools. I mean, it even makes the job easy for also the operator. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to even more of this. If you have any other program, you could let us know. If need be, we can also even make it also bigger by introducing or bringing on board my colleagues from other places, and if need be, we could also even involve our experts and trainers, the expatriates from Germany, our head office, so that we can give the best solution we can at every point in time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Victor. It's always a pleasure, having you around and discussing when it comes to food. And you know how passionate I am about this equipment, of course. You know how passionate I am about this equipment.
Yeah, true.
And from me, I would like to say a big thank you to Steel for giving out the time to come on this platform and talk about this equipment. For all we know, it can be on the shelf and nothing happens. And also, a bigger thank you to ACA for this platform. This is a wonderful platform to share this result, to share this information to the cashew community, and also see how we can take this discussion further. So what are my takeaways from this engagement? One, I say pruning is a very good activity to implement on your farm as advised by Professor Masawe, and this is a very important discussion for productivity and for reduced pesticides on the farm. If you're able to prune properly, you have very little pest infestation on the farm. And also, it is good for us to also know that the key determinants of adoption for development partners are those things we've highlighted there: access to information, to training services, to webinars like this, and market arrangement, the price, the models, and all. Also, one of another key take-up is where we can get this equipment. So either you get it as a large scale farmer, you can get it through still service centers, or if you're a small scale farmers having little less than an hectare of cashew plantation, you can subscribe to a farm service provider to offer the services for you for a fee. You don't need to get an equipment, you just need to identify a service. But we advise that for ease of use, for flexibility of use, you might need to have one. And if you have one, you can also make this as a business and rent it out to farmers within your clusters or within your community. So finally, I would say a big thank you to ACA. I would say a big thank you to the National Cashew Association of Nigeria, Mr. Ojuajanaku, for giving us some technical insights to the slides. I will say a big thank you to Blessing Okam of ACA. She's doing tremendous work at ACA. For Kadi Oluyemi Oluborode, thank you for your contribution on this slide. And finally, Victor Aliyu, we hope to have you in subsequent times. We hope to keep engaging you, to keep promoting the technologies you have, and we look forward to that to cordless technology you have on your shelf, and see how this can actually replace the gasoline powered technology in a matter of years or in a matter of months, depending on what you have in your marketing strategy. So thank you everyone for your time. Thank you for having me. Once again, my name is Adedamola Adeshida. I am the National Executive Secretary for National Cashew Association of Nigeria, and I also double as the Sustainability Director for Conservation Alliance Development Initiative, an NGO based in Nigeria, and we do a lot of activities around the tree crop sector, and we hope to keep engaging you, keep working with you. But for now, I would like to pass on the baton to ACA to give a wrap up of this, so that we can wrap up this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ade, and thank you to Victor also for joining us this morning as we looked at cashew farm maintenance equipment, innovative technologies by Stihl. I'd like to say, could you please drop your contacts in the chat, Victor and Ade, because we have people asking for contacts of Stihl in Ghana and in Nigeria. So if you would drop your contacts in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another session, another ACA technical series. As we always tell you, this is as we always share with you issues that you want us to address. Please, we'll find the right resource persons to address those questions or needs of the industry. You can write to aca@africancashewalliance.com, and we'll organize such special sessions to address your needs. Next week, we come your way again with another session of the ACA Global Market Encounter with Jim Fitzpatrick, where we are looking at 2022, a review of 2022 and what to look out for in 2023. Please do not miss the session. It will take place next week, Wednesday, the 7th of December at 9 a.m. GMT. In the absence of any other question or need, we would like to wish you a great day and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Africa.